everyone. Before we get started, I wanted to quickly set the stage just so we all have some context. Firstly, my name is Peter. I'm a senior associate here at 500. And so my job is largely to work directly with a number of corporate investors and corporate innovators on projects related to startup investment and startup partnerships. And so this event is being hosted as a part of our ongoing Slack community called 500 VC. 500 VC is an invite-only Slack community for corporate and institutional investors to engage in helpful conversation, networking, and ultimately empower founders. And so as a part of that, we host networking events, startup presentations, and discussion series like this one. And so within the Slack group, we started the Corporate Venturing channel to be a collaborative community through which members can share best practices and learnings, as well as help enhance the perspective of perception of CVC among the startup ecosystem. And so if you're at all interested in joining this community, please feel free to shoot myself or Sean an email. I'm going to drop our emails in the chat in a second, but go ahead and feel free to mention us as references. And so about this event, it's a bi-weekly speaker series featuring top corporate venturing practitioners sharing their unique journey to CVC, their specific challenges, as well as the best practices and learnings that they picked up along the way. And so as a part of this event, we're also going to have Q&A on, so feel free to ask your questions, and Kid and Nicolas will get to the answers towards the end, but feel free to answer or to ask questions in the chat. And so now that you know what we're doing, you know who we are, I'm just going to go ahead and hand it over to Nicolas to kick things off. Enjoy.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you 500 Startup for hosting this bi-weekly series. I think it's really getting a lot of quality feedback from many people that this is helping to learn about best practices around corporate venturing. And the idea is that every 2 weeks, we invite someone who has a different angle around corporate venturing. And today I'm super happy because I have actually a very good friend of mine, Kid, who is doing something quite exceptional in Southeast Asia. And he's going to give you a very different angle from the previous speakers. So without further ado, Kid, would you like to introduce yourself, your project, but also what you're looking for moving forward?
Thanks, Nicolas, and also thank you for, Find a Startup for sponsoring this session. I'm super excited because right now it's like 11 p.m. in Bangkok, where I'm based in right now, and happy to share you with what I'm doing. So let me share the screen, so that just use this screen to introduce myself. You guys see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So what is this?
Actually, I saw the slide before. I could not guess it, so it needs explanation.
Yeah. So actually, it's doctor handwriting. Right, so before I started my career as a venture capitalist and also like the entrepreneur, so I was a medical doctor. Yeah, at that time when I was in a med school, I really want to do something that is extraordinary, which is I want to trade a stock in the classroom. Yeah, and at that time back then when it's a year like 2004. Yeah, so we're using this mobile phone, right? So this is anyone can remember the model. So this is 3310, which is super thing, which is it's just a snake game, right? So so I grew up with that, but then I was in the classroom. I want to trade the stock. I said, why don't we use the mobile to trade the stock? So so I did that with my friend. It became the first application in the country where people can trade the stock on the mobile. And at that point in time, I found my journey, right? And I also start to believe that whenever we have the pain, innovation also always starts from our own pain. And after that, I sold the application to the stock exchange, and the application become #1 in the country right now. So I just made the first mistake as an entrepreneur because I sold it too fast. I should have sold it yesterday. But that's also like teaching me a lot in terms of like entrepreneurship and also like doing like startup in the early days. And then after that, I tried to see like what I should do when I fall in love with being entrepreneur. So I keep asking myself, and then a few years ago, I started a company called Rise, which is my main focus right now. So for Rise, we call ourselves Corporate Innovation Powerhouse. So our job and our mission, which is also right now not only the company mission, but also my own personal mission, is to drive 1% of GDP, for the whole like Southeast Asia, not only in Thailand, and where I'm based right now. And the interesting thing is that if you read the news, like Thailand's GDP last quarter, dropped 12%. Tomorrow, I'm gonna meet with the ministry, and then I'm sure, he gonna ask me like, Kit, like right now our GDP is 12% drop. 1% for Rise is not enough. So I said, yes, this is very exciting time. How we be able to do that, and what I'm doing is to try to do another side of the coin. So normally many people like helping the startup to grow. In Southeast Asia, we have so many big corporate, and I believe that the big corporate is the one who driving like economy. Because when they grow up, they also like hiring more people, and then they are actually the one who driving the whole like economy of the region, including the government. So when I come up with that idea, I said, okay, then we should find a way to let the corporate, which has everything, the money, infrastructure, the team, but they don't have much innovation. But compared to the startup, where they have innovation, but they don't have money, they don't have the team, and most importantly, they don't have the claim. So why don't these two be able to work together? So that's my first idea, and that's why I start off doing like corporate accelerator. So helping the big company to sourcing for the startup worldwide, to helping them increase more revenue and reduce the cost of operation. So far we become one of the largest like the network in Southeast Asia, like working together with 200 startup alumni. These startups coming from 40 countries, and the combined valuation is around like $1 billion US. So that's what we do. Apart from that, we also helping like the big corporate to understand more about how they're gonna like turn themselves, to become startup, to change your mindset and moving quickly, and also be able to set up what I call entrepreneur, like the entrepreneur inside the big company. So we helping these like 6,000 like executive, in the region, and so far we helping them spin off the smaller company, almost like 10 company right now, and these 10 company that creating from their own employees, having like 10 of revenue a year. So that's what we did in the past 3 years. Apart from that, which I also love to share later on. We also having our like VC fund, based in the US. The goal of the setting up this VC fund is a little bit different. We looking at the return as a second priority. The first priority is to find the technology company to be able to help our LPs, which is also the big company, to help them, working with the startup even closer. So that's also the thesis of the fund. And lastly, we also having our like conference, which draw over like 4,000 executives, from 40 countries last year, to Bangkok, and learn more, hands-on, about corporate innovation. So that's kind of like a nutshell, what we do. And I'm happy to share more afterward. Now over to Nicolas, to asking like any question or the question from the audience.
Thank you, Kid. It was really good, and you managed to stay exactly on time. So this will leave a lot of time for us to have interactivity. If anyone has questions, please use a Q&A feature and not the chat feature, so I can see it popping up. So Kid, super good, thank you. I love your mission statement. When we met 2 years ago, it was 1% GDP for Thailand. And since then, you have upgraded that mission statement to all of Southeast Asia. So congratulations for all the progress you made. And this is really a meaningful progress. But I'm going to start with a challenging observation. You mentioned corporations don't have innovation. And then you mentioned you are helping corporates to spin off innovation. So it feels like the little innovation they may have, you're helping them to get it out. So can you reconcile the two?
Yeah, thanks so much for your compliment, Nicolas. And also, yeah, I would paraphrase this a little bit. Yeah, because actually, yeah, the way that we look at that the corporate, they've been doing innovation inside the company for so long, right? Many companies have what we call R&D department. They're doing a great job. Yeah, but also like we see many companies, yeah, trying to change the way they're doing innovation internally, because they say sometimes like R&D taking too long time. The mindset of R&D is different from startup. How they be able to move fast, yeah, in this like the super fast changing world, right? So what we're trying to help is that we're trying to bring the mindset of a startup, the way to work like startup, starting from like empathy building, using design thinking, right? Try to understand the end customer, try to build prototype really fast, and then get the feedback from the end customer. Yeah, rather than doing like the traditional like research lab type kind of thing. So that's kind of like the things that we brought in, yeah, to the company, and because yeah, as I mentioned, the startup, because they're also moving fast, yeah, but they don't have the customer. So that's why, yeah, we also try another way, yeah, what I call like bringing startup to work with the company is kind of like bringing outside to the inside. Yeah, but for building internal capabilities, it's trying to improve the internal capabilities, so like the inside, yeah, like to outside. Yeah, so that's kind of like the outside in and inside out, yeah, methodologies that we try to do.
That makes sense, and I've heard the same from our friends at Mike 49. So when you talk about this, I feel like a lot of it is about changing mindset of the corporate to be more thinking like startups. But one of the big challenge is you can try to change the mindset, but if the DNA of the company is so strong that it cannot change, how do you handle it? What is for you the biggest challenge for a corporate to change mindset so that they can move much faster and iterate closer with the customers? Because if you ask them, they will say, of course, we work with the customers closely. So how do you do it?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, actually, like based on like Harvard Business Review like report, right? So they said, yeah, the biggest challenge for the company to move forward faster, yeah, is what? It's all of us here. It's a leader, right? So the C-suite or the sponsorship, this is the most important things, right? So when I say to the executive, I say it's all about the mindset and their common mindset, yeah, that the CEO need to have. Yeah, for example, like I say, yeah, you need to prefer speed over scale. Yeah, because the corporate in the past, they try to say, okay, yeah, we do is economy of scale, which is great. Yeah, and it still works like until now, right? But then as innovation and the cost of creating innovation is dropping drastically in the past like 50 years. Let's say, for example, if you want to build one server, yeah, like 40 years ago, you need 100K, yeah, to build one like server to save 5 megabytes, right? But right now, yeah, like 10 years back, yeah, it's cost only like 100 US, yeah, to get 1 gigabyte. And now, Yeah, fast forward, right? So you spend $100 and you get 100 gigabytes. So it's mean like the improvement is like 100 times, yeah, over like 10 years period. So the cost of developing innovation is dropping a lot. Yeah, so that's why the mindset of the executive need to prefer like speed over like the scale. Yeah, so that's the first thing. Yeah, the second thing, yeah, which I think it's also like very important, yeah, is to like the prefer risk over safety. Yeah, this is not very traditional like corporate thinking, right? But this is the real example that I face it myself. Like like I think like 5 years ago, there's a one startup coming to me and then say, hey kid, I want to raise the capital like with you. I said, how much you want to raise? Oh, I want to raise only a few like let's say that time is 30,000, like 30,000 US, which is small money, right? Yeah. And then I said, okay, this is good, but your startup is looking great, and I work with many corporate. I'll introduce you, yeah, to the CEO. Yeah, so the CEO of the big company, and then I bring them to meet CEO. CEO said this is great. This startup be able to generate like 30 million US, yeah, in the next 3 years for the company, right? So, and then I said, okay, then what is the next step? He said, even though he's a CEO, he don't have he cannot make the decision himself because he needs a protocol. Yeah, he needs an investment committee, and also his investment committee also need something called feasibility study. Yeah, whether this is feasible or not, right? And then, and I asked him like, okay, and then how long would it take? He said he don't know because he needs to ask consultant, yeah, to run,
Wow.
yeah, the feasibility study. He cannot run it himself. Okay, I wait for like 2 weeks. I call him again. Okay, what did the consultant say? Yeah, the consultant say, okay, this is a big project, Mr. CEO. Yeah, we would like to propose like 1 million, like US, yeah, the consulting fee. I said, what? But the startup only asking for like 30K, and now they actually the consultant asking for a lot more. Yeah, so that's how I see the risk differently. I say, okay, if that's the case, why don't you using that money like 1 million US and give a seed investment to YC company for another 30 company, and that's might make more sense to me. Yeah, so that's kind of like the things that I learned that the corporate these days, if they want to succeed, yeah, they need to also change their mindset to prefer risk, yeah, over safety. Yeah, and the last one, yeah.
This is back to my point about DNA. What you call protocol is part of the DNA of the company. That's what they keep doing the same way. So I think changing mindset, I totally agree with you, needs to start from the C-suite. Without the sponsorship, it's going to have a lot of friction, if not impossible, because then you combine the fact that no one believes from the top with all these protocols that are going to kill any type of lightweight innovation. Can you tell us a little bit about what's specific about Southeast Asia? Maybe starting from the corporate, what's different about the way corporate are thinking in Southeast Asia versus what you've seen from outside Southeast Asia?
Yeah, I think the main different things based on the number, right? So let's say, for example, in Thailand, yeah, we have only a few, yeah, maybe less than 10 venture capital, right? But we have around like 30 plus CVC, right? So that's kind of like, yeah, so that's kind of like the very different mentality, because here, yeah, the economy is driven by the big company, yeah, the private company. Yeah, so and that's why the private company, because they want to stay ahead of the curve, right? So that's why they say, okay, now they want to work with the startup. They want to strategically invest in the startup before the startup trying to disrupt them, right? So that's why we see a lot like CVC popping up in the past 5 years. in Thailand. So that I think that the one of the main difference. Apart from that, if you zoom out a little bit as a region, so I think I'm quite proud that Southeast Asia is now like the fastest internet growing economy in the world. Based on like the research from Google and Bain that they produce like 3 years in a row. You can just search Google that, Google, Temasek, and Bain research. So they project that in 2025, the internet economy of Southeast Asia gonna hit 300 billion US. And now today, it's only 100 billion. So it's growing quite a lot. In the next few years. And the growth is driven by something that other developed countries already passed this phase. For example, like fintech, we're talking about like ride hailing, like in Southeast Asia, we have unicorn called Grab, and also Gojek, right? So these are the famous like unicorn in the region. And also driven by like digital media spending, e-commerce, and also online travel, like online travel agent. So these are like 5 key sectors that is like driving like internet economy in Southeast Asia.
Very nice. Actually, I read about Foxconn making the comment that because of all the trade friction between US and China, a lot will be changed, and Southeast Asia is going to gain a lot from this. So no doubt that Southeast Asia is going to be growing, which actually means that your 1% of GDP is even more challenged because it's on a bigger number. So you just said something which I actually did not realize, but Thailand is 3 times more corporate VCs than VCs. And it's interesting because that's not true everywhere. But in Thailand, it means that if you're an entrepreneur, going to a corporate VCs is actually something probably logical to do. Can you tell me more about the mindset of the entrepreneur in Thailand, in particular, when they want to raise money and they choose between VCs and CVCs, or they actually want both?
Yeah, wow, that was a great question. So basically, I need to step back to give the overview of Thailand's startup landscape a little bit. So Thailand is actually like small country, right? So we have only 70 million, like our like GDP is like top 3 in the region, but definitely is the largest one would be Indonesia. So if you think about like people think about startup landscape these days, 80% of the venture capital and also like investment is going go to Indonesia and Singapore. So that startup scene is super. I mean, like it's hotter over there. Where Thailand, the startup scene, like in Thailand, I think it just started like maybe less than 10 years. So probably, if I'm not miscorrect, I think around like 6-7 years ago, the largest round of funding to the startup was 2 million US.
Oh wow!
This is the largest round. And then that's maybe the first Series A. Not include those like the buyout. Like those like buy out the company, or the deal, for example, like Priceline bought Agoda, like which is like travel agent, like online travel agent, right? So that's exclude. But like Thai, like the founder, Thai startup, so that's a 2 million Series A, largest one 6 years ago. So that's kind of, you see the scene, right? The scene is just popping up, and then and we see a lot more startup. So like last 2 weeks, like we got the big deal that one of the like PE VC fund, investing into like a company called Lineman, and also like the Yelp-like application in Thailand called Wong Nai. So that deal worth 240 million US investment. So you see, like from 2 million, and now it's 240 million. So the growth of the startup scene is it's a lot better, compared to 6 years ago.
What was missing before that makes it possible today?
I think, well, there's so many things, right? So first, like I think the startup community, especially in Southeast Asia, I think because we don't have the role model. Yeah, because you see in the US, right? So many unicorn, some people start unicorn and then become the second unicorn that he built. Yeah, so we see many cases like that. Yeah, in Southeast Asia, we don't have much cases because right now we have less than 20 unicorn in the whole region, Southeast Asia. Yeah, right. So that's why I think first thing is we see more and more role model. So people gonna want to be like Grab, Gojek, or Traveloka. So the unicorn in the region. So that's the first thing. Yeah, that's why when people see that, hey, that guy can do, I can do it too. So that's some mentality that I think is good. Yeah. The second thing is I think especially for Thailand, I think the law and regulation is getting a lot better. For example, like Thailand is among the first country in the region, if not in the world, that regularize the cryptocurrency. So if any cryptocurrency want to exchange, would like to operate in Thailand, they can file for the license, right? So that's a little bit different, so it's meaning that the law and regulation, for example, another thing which is just happened like this year, is that we can do stock option. What? You might wonder, what again? Because before, the stock option is reserved for the company, the listed company only, publicly traded company, be able to issue the stock option for their employees and the founders and everyone else. In the past, we cannot do that. Our law do not allow to do that. But now we can do, right? So it's so it's getting more like westernized, for people to run the company here in Thailand. Yeah, so that's maybe.
Actually, if I was to summarize, I think it's all about sharing risk and rewards. For the limited partners, LPs, you need to show good potential exits, what you call the role models. And if the LPs have a belief that they can have a big exit, then the risk reward is balanced. And when you talk about stock options, this is the same. When you have entrepreneurs and people joining young startups, the stock option is about giving them a potential reward for the risks they are taking. So it's interesting that this is something quite recent in Thailand, but it explains why the trajectory, which is very interesting. And that leads to my next question, which is about your corporate innovation university. Because clearly it's good to have these role models. It's good to have this structural change like stock options, but you also need to raise the bar in terms of knowing how to create corporate innovation. And maybe the first question is, why did you call it university and not school or workshop or other ways? Why the word university?
Yeah, I think because the key thing is it's like a journey. Yeah, we see university is like the learning journey, learning path. Yeah, so because you cannot say, okay, once you graduate from like you learn design thinking and you become expert in corporate innovation. No, right? So I think the most important keyword, is to like do it, right? Yeah, actually, people say like design thinking is not design thinking; it's actually design doing. And so people start to do it until they understand, right? And then they be able to practice it, like in everyday life. So that's why I think the way that we try to craft it as university, because it's a learning journey. You need to practice it, and then you need to learn, unlearn, and relearn like every day. Yeah, so that's why we named it like that.
I like when you say learn and unlearn. Can you deep dive a bit on this?
Yeah, so because I think another pitfall, for the senior executive is that most of the people, they rely on the success in the past, right? So they say, okay, this is good, and then this is what I when I tell this story to like those to be corporate innovator, so I say, when you go to your boss with a great idea, And then you like want to share, it's, wow, this is my great idea, boss. The boss said, oh, I did it before and it doesn't work, right? So this is like killing everything, right? So because the pride or the success in the past, it might not really run 100%. Yeah, we're not saying that, yeah, the experience that the senior executive has in the past 20 years, that's worthless. No, we didn't say that, but we say the context, it's already changed. And then how we be able to get the early on feedback from the customer, using the data to make decision, like that's also very important. Yeah.
Very nice. I really like it. Now, if it's a university, does it mean that it grants diploma or degree or not?
No, yeah, but we on the work, yeah, to give our kind of like certification, yeah, but not the degree, yeah.
Okay, so you have. I want to talk about the event you're planning coming up soon. You invited me to speak as a keynote, so thank you again for that. Can you describe why you have this event? And it's a major event. We're not talking a small event like we have sometimes in California. So can you describe it? And what is one goal, if you achieve it, you will be very happy?
Yeah, I think it's also aligned like with our goal to drive the GDP. Yeah, because I look at my like the university, like Corporate Innovation University that we have, and then last 2 years, I said, wow, this is great. We have over 4,000 like CEO, like including last year going to be 6,000 CEO, right? Been to our program. But if we want to become like 10x growth, just like other startup, right? Yeah, we ourselves treat everything as we are a startup as well. So we said we want to grow 10%, 100%, like 10x, like every year. So from 6,000, we want 60,000, like people, yeah, to come and join us, right? But yeah, it's not easy. And if we keep training, it's not easy. So the conference should be the way that we include a lot more people who are interested in corporate innovation. But then, yeah, because I've been to many conferences worldwide, and then I stuck at that, and then I feel the same thing, that most of the conference, yeah, is give inspiration. We listen to great keynote speaker, listen to great panelists. Yeah, I keep asking the CEO who joined those conference, what did you really get from the conference? They said inspiration. Yeah, and then I said, and what's next? They said, okay, after a few days, inspiration is gone. Yeah, and then, but because we want to drive the real impact, so we say, how can we redesign, yeah, like to make conference better? So we coined a term, yeah, we call corporate like experiential conference, because what I truly believe is that we only be able to change the mindset of the people only when they start doing something, and then they realize that, wow, this is a change, or maybe, wow, we can do this in a shorter time frame, or wow, yeah, this is amazing. So yeah, but you only appreciate it if you listen to it, but you're gonna feel amazed, right, when you are doing it. So that's why we coined the term experiential conference, where we bring like hundreds of workshops. Yeah, because and from the people who invent the theory. For example, like last year, we got Alexander Osterwald, who invented business model canvas, to come and run the workshop for everyone. Yeah, or like yeah. So that's kind of like the thesis of the conference. Yeah.
And here, I'm loving it, but I find it very difficult to see how you can maximize on the experience while having so many people attending. How do you manage to do a high quality experience and at the same time have so many people?
Yeah, so for example, when I say like 100 workshop, right? So we break down the workshop room, yeah, into 20 rooms. These 20 rooms running 3 days in a row, like and each day we have around like 10 workshops, right? So it's meaning that you get 10 workshops, right? And then you'll be able to join 10 workshops, 10 different workshops like a day. Yeah, in each workshop, we have only 30, 40, 50 people. Yeah, in this room, like even though this year we turned it to be virtual, like hybrid program. Yeah, I would say hybrid, those people who are in Thailand, they can come on site. Those people who join from abroad, yeah, we have the Zoom, like the room, right? But then in the room, it's not only speaker, we also have facilitator. For example, like in the room, let's say we have 50 people. We also breaking down these 50 people into 10 groups. And these 10 groups also have 10 facilitators, helping them, coaching them. So this is how like we enhance experience, yeah, for everyone. Yeah, and then when they get tired, because one of the rules joining our workshop is you need to turn on your camera. And you cannot just listen. So that's so you might get tired, so you can get out of the workshop and then join the keynote, listening to Nicolas, like talking about TDK ventures.
To be resting.
Yeah, so
okay, thank you.
that's kind of like the break. Yeah, when you get tired of the workshop, because I don't think people can spend 8 hours like workshop all the way. Yeah.
So I think you convinced everyone that it's a conference like no other. Maybe one final question about the conference itself is, the audience is going to be people who are thinking about doing a corporate VC, or people who are new and joining a corporate VC. Do you have workshops that are specific for this audience of new CVCs or upcoming CVCs?
Yeah, actually, like this year we also partner with 500 startups, yeah, to run like the workshop, the keynote as well. Yeah, so definitely like corporate innovation team, people like Thomas, yeah, also Sean and the team also helping us organizing this. Yeah, and also for the audience, I think it's also broader, because it's not only the CVC or the people who run like the venture capital, but also those people who are in the marketing department where they need some innovation for their work, or the people who are in the product development team, or the C-suite who want to learn more about like corporate innovation. This year theme, we also add sustainability. Yeah, because the theme for this year, you see in the back of my background, it's called Celebration of Resilience. Yeah, why we think about this theme? Because we think let's stop like talking about the COVID and the pandemic and the crisis and feel sad about that. But now I think it's a time to prepare, for what's next for next year, right? When everything get back, how we be able to bounce back very fast. Yeah, so that's kind of like the theme for this year. And then not only the corporate people, we also invite government officer, because in Southeast Asia, the government is also played a very important role. Yeah, for example, like country like Singapore. Yeah, I work a lot. Yeah, with the Singapore government, we also get the grant from Singapore government to run corporate innovation program for Singaporean company. Yeah, so that's so we also see Singaporean government is super active. Yeah, in terms of like driving our innovation. If you see the news right now, there's a good chance for a startup in Singapore, yeah, who want to become the first-time founder. They get like 50,000 Sing dollars for the setup, from the government. Yeah, so that's kind of like the many initiative from the Singapore government. Yeah, so second like the target group, yeah, that we also invite. And the third one, which is also like played a very important role, yeah, for Southeast Asia, is a small SME, small medium enterprise, small medium business, yeah, and also family business, yeah, because like for example in Thailand, like SME like account for 90%, yeah, of of the number of the company, yeah, in the region, which account for like 3 million like SME in the country. Yeah, so that's the big chunk, yeah, of the business. Yeah, so we think this group, yeah, if you be able to enhance them with the knowledge, they'll be able to get the new mindset, for them to come back to work, yeah, different way. They get the new skill set, yeah, to run some of the, or work with the startup, yeah, and also they get a tool set, yeah, where they, yeah, can bring back to their home, not only listen, but also be able to bring back and use it. So that's also the goal, yeah, of our conference.
That's very nice. I actually like the word resilience, and definitively 2020 is a very testing time for all of us. So can you share maybe an inspiring one or two stories about resilience you've seen in the startup community, and maybe give a view about what other entrepreneurs would find inspiring?
Yeah, I think one case study that I'd like to share. So I met one of the founder. Yeah, they own a fitness center, right? So fitness center after COVID, what happened, right? So no one is at fitness center. Boom, yeah, nothing, right? And then, but then this company called Physic, yeah, Physic 57. So that's the company name, yeah. And then they said, okay. Yeah, they kind of like using design thinking, asking like what people really need from coming to the fitness. Definitely they need like more healthy, yeah, but they also need community, right? Meeting some friends, meeting some colleagues, and then exercise together as a group, like yoga group or like the spinning class group, right? So that's a community. So they're asking and they turn themselves and asking the question like, and what we can do at home, yeah, so that people can still achieve this goal as a community, right? And serve something that people need at home, right? So they turn the company, they're setting up kind of like the startup within the fitness center called Home 57. And what Home 57 has to offer is that, okay, when you are at home, for example, like women are at home, yeah, what they need, they need like they need to the beauty class, kind of like people training them how to beauty in front of the camera, yeah. So they're changing, and also like virtual exercise, they definitely like how to like yoga at home or fitness at home, right? So people will be able to do something. Or one thing that is very like popular here, people start in Thailand, people don't, the younger generation, we don't cook that much. Most people eating out. Yeah, if you come to Thailand, like #1 spot for Instagram is a shopping mall. Right? So people come to shopping mall like crazy. Yeah, so the most crowded floor of the shopping mall is a restaurant floor. Right? So people eating out. And then when people cannot go to the department store to eating out, what they need to do? They need to cook. So these startup Home 57, so they invite the celebrity chef to teach cooking, yeah, on Zoom. Yeah, so that's kind of like how resilient that we see, right? And then even beyond that, what they did is that, okay, now Nicolas would like to, you want to try spinning class, but you don't have the electric bike at home. So they rent out electric bike that they not use at the fitness center and send it to your home. And then now you can use the electric bike, yeah, together with the t-shirt. Yeah, so that's kind of like the resilient things that we see, and we quite think, well, this is a great idea.
I think it's a great example, because when you talk about resilience, if you're a fitness center, you would think your business is dead. I mean, COVID-19 is going to kill everything. And here you're giving an example where they've been very outside the box and outside the fitness center to still deliver value to their customers. And it's back to what you were saying, which I like. I think it's the first time I heard it, which is design thinking is actually design doing. And I think here you have to try many things and see what is valuable. Do you have another example which is more about this design doing?
Yeah, so actually, we not only like teaching design thinking for our corporate innovator, right? But we also doing it ourselves. Everything that we teach, we do it. For example, like during the COVID, we say, yeah, inspired by the like physics, like startup like physics, right? So we say, how how we be able to help other company and also smaller company to survive during the COVID time. Yeah, so, and we research and we say, oh, many company adopt the things we call business model, business continuity plan. Right? So that's something the big company adopt. But then when we analyze, we say, business continuity plan is not enough. We need something we call innovation continuity plan. How you be able to innovate, during the COVID. So we brainstorming, like asking the feedback from our customer, and we come up with what we call innovation continuity plan. And after a while, we also invent what we call innovation continuity canvas. Just like if you're familiar with business model canvas, this is also the canvas that adapt using during the COVID, and help the smaller company be able to think about the new idea they be able to do, to fight with the COVID. So that's kind of like the things that we not only like thinking, but we also doing right away and doing for other people, because at the end, if they all die, who's gonna be our customer, right? So we need to let everyone survive, so that we can be able to drive economy forward.
Talking of economy, many people are mentioning that during financial recessions, this is where you get the best startups being created. Do you feel like 2020 is going to be the year where amazing startups are going to be created, or do you think it's more like next year, 2021?
Yeah, I think startup can, like the great startup can come at any time, right? And especially the hard time. Yeah, I mean, I think the one who survive is the one who more interesting, to invest. Yeah, because they might have something really, really good. Yeah, so I think, I think it's this year, like in the next week, is they also have like the YC demo day, right? I'm really also looking forward to that, to see like more entrepreneur that is fighting through the crisis, and then we would love to support them doing so.
And so now let's move to your VC initiative, CX Ventures. First, do you feel like this is actually one of the best possible time to invest?
Yeah, I think it's really depend, right? For example, take Thailand for instance. So in Thailand, I think they're going to be like two group of the startup. So those startup who already kind of like mature, post Series A, they'll be able to generate the new money. Yeah, this year definitely they're going to be able to raise money. Yeah, the B I expect to see like more B round, or C round later this year. Yeah, even though they have with the crisis, but they're still doing well. Yeah, so that's one group. Another group, which is I'm also more worried about, because these are like C stage or like the pre-A. Yeah, so that these is some of them are pre-revenue. Yeah, so we expect that these startup like 80% of them may be gone. Yeah, because their runway is shorter than like 6 months or like a year, so they cannot survive. Like because we also expect like after like the quarter Q4, the real thing gonna happen, because in Q4 most of the government stimulus package of the economy stimulus gonna and then now so the real thing is gonna come to life. Yeah, so that's the thing that I see.
Very nice. So let me ask a question, because this is not intuitive to me. You have a beautiful personal ambition, which is about increasing the GDP of Southeast Asia, but you decided for your VC investment vehicle to be in US. Can you tell me a bit the rationales behind that?
Yeah, definitely. Our fund, CX Venture, is a deep tech fund. So we want to invest in exponential technologies. Yeah, and we need to admit that most of the deep tech, is less like in Southeast Asia. Yeah, because I think not because I think our people are great, but then many of them are working in the US or in Europe, right? And then also the ecosystem of investment is not that, I mean, like it's still just starting, right? So that's why I think in the US we have more chance, yeah, to getting the better company, and then we and also like why we set up our fund in the US, because almost all of our investors, they are institutional, yeah, and also or high net worth that own like listed company. So that network in the region is super strong. Let's say if I find one deep tech company in Thailand or in Singapore, yeah, our investor might say they know them, yeah, because it's close connection, right? But in the US, it's different story, yeah, because they don't have network, they don't have access, yeah, thanks to our like our class at Stanford that helping us reaching out to more like network, like right. So that is how like we see we're gonna bring more value to our investor in the region, that we bring the technology back to like Southeast Asia. Yeah. So if any of the startup would like to tap into this market, yeah, we also be able to help them. Yeah.
Very nice. And so one of the very important best practice for a VC or a corporate VC is to be able to explain the investment thesis in a very simple way. So now is the time for you to be tested. How would you describe in a nutshell what CX Ventures invest in and does not invest in?
Yeah, so what we invest is a deep tech, for example, like the blockchain, like biotech company, which is my background, also nanotechnology, robotics, AI. So those are the things that we are focusing on. Yeah, things that we are not focusing on is something that we don't know how to add value. For example, like marketplace, e-commerce, those kind of like network effect. Yeah, so because we think that if this thing happen, yeah, most of the people who are gonna win is a local player. And again, if it's a local player, our investor gonna know them, right? But then because we're focusing on the US right now, like 80% of our portfolio is the company based in the US. So we have the edge, yeah, to bring this like the startup back to Southeast Asia. And then when we say back to Southeast Asia, it's meaning that we're trying to like introduce our startup to our investor as well, to plug in to our investor core business, so that both people win. Not only win from the investment per se, but also win from the real business, meaning that our investor might become startup customer, right? And then they're both getting more revenue, yeah, or reduce the cost of operation at the same time.
Very nice. So do you have an advice for corporate VCs who are listening? I mean, you work with many of them. Is there a mistake they keep making, or is there something that you really like in some of them they do that you would recommend every corporate VC to watch out for?
Yeah, I love the time that we learned one thing from Professor Lvov at Stanford, right? He said that like most of the corporate VC gonna die after 4 years. Yeah, and 4 years kind of the mark that whether you're gonna survive or not. Because the first year, the CEO might say, okay, this is a try out. Second year, you need to show some result. If there's still no result, maybe you can ask for another year. But then after that, it's gonna be harder and harder, right? So I think the first thing is for the C-suite, you need to have the longer term view, right? Because if you say 4 years is a mark, you might need to think about 5 years, and then you make decision once again. You need to give the runway. Yeah. At the same time, for the investment manager, yeah, you need to do something that not too long term. Yeah, because at the end, when we say about strategic investment, strategic should sometimes I see that strategic can be quick win as well. Yeah, if we be able to turn that to be the quick win for the company, yeah, that gonna help validate the CVC investment. Yeah.
So the problem with the quick wins is you only see them after they have happened. You can't really always predict them in advance. So
Sure.
So you talked about what to do. Do you have a mistake you see from corporate VCs that you think they should really try to avoid?
Yeah, so apart from what I already said, I think, yeah, I mean, like most important thing is don't do it if it's me too. Yeah, for example, like you don't have the clear statement, you don't have the clear goal, you don't really know what is your problem statement to looking for. I mean, you just say, okay, your friend have it, now I have to have it too. I'm bigger company, I need to have it too. Yeah, sometimes it's just like that. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that's never lead to the part that you're going to run the successful CVC.
I think you're making a very good point. And here I think I'm going to give a lot of credit to TDK's management, because it's a company that started in 1935. And when we were in the Stanford program, I assumed that TDK would have a corporate VC. And when I checked, there was none. And what I learned is that the pressure to do a corporate VC was actually quite high, because so many Japanese companies had corporate VCs. But TDK is very sensible. They would only do something if it makes sense. And they keep saying, if it's just to do like others are doing, it doesn't make sense. So they didn't want a Me Too CVC. And when I proposed a project about exploration in markets we're not in with technology we don't have, they said, that's what we want, but not a Me Too CVC. So I think you're making a very good point, which is if you're creating a corporate VC, you really have to think about what it is that's special about your corporate that you can add value to the entrepreneurs. And earlier you mentioned about value add for your portfolio company. Can you give one or two examples of value add you can bring very quickly to the startups you invest in?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is the access to our corporate partner. For now, RISE is working with 400 corporates across Southeast Asia. So, and then because we're working there not only in a startup, like bringing startup outside to inside, and also working like kind of like building the corporate innovation like capabilities, right? So when we do both of these things, we understand truly what the company is looking for. Yeah, what are their vision in the next 5 years, what they're good at or what they're not good at, what they are like, what they need right now. So then when we introduce startup to our corporate partner, it's kind of like matchmaking, like super matchmaking. So that's helped a lot. Yeah, and that's why our success rate, yeah, in doing matchmaking is around 70%. Yeah, which means if we introduce like 10 company, 7 of that 10, yeah, be able to plug together, to work together with our corporate partner. Yeah, so I think that's the most valuable. Yeah, the second thing that I also want to share, because RISE, we also running accelerator program, we call growth stage accelerator program. It's meaning that we can be the launch pad for the startup after we invest. Any of them would like to tap into Southeast Asia market, yeah, because we also working with Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia government closely. Yeah, so we'll be able to help you set up in those countries very easy. Yeah, because we do have office in those countries. So these are two benefits that I think is quite different, yeah, from the typical like VC fund.
Yeah, and I can vouch for you. You always think about win-win. So you're always thinking about what's valuable for both sides, whether it's the entrepreneur and the corporate or other actors. So we are reaching the end of the interview. Maybe we will just finish with a call for action, which is, can you say where people can find out about the Corporate Innovation Summit 2020 and the date?
Sure, yeah, the date is like 15 to 17 September, and you can check it out, yeah, at cis.risexcel.com. Yeah, so CIS and risexcel.com. Yeah, and then and I just want to say that thank you so much for Nicolas and also found this startup. And then I do believe that, yeah, the world of startup is going to grow, and also like this is the world of collaboration, yeah, not competition. Yeah, or yeah, so that's the key word for today.
Perfect. It's a perfect way to end a great interview. Thank you, Kit.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, take care. Yeah, have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.